is another edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Today, we'll be focused on the UK Innovator Founder Visa Route. It's a new visa route that's just launched or is launching in the UK. It's a route that we believe that you should know about as a member of the eMigr8 community. It's a route that we believe is extremely viable for people to explore as a pathway to move from their home country to the UK. It's a new visa route. It's launching on April 13, 2023. There's a lot of information about the visa route. We'll be sharing a lot during today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. If you're a beginner, it's a route that you should be listening to, learning about, understanding the requirements. If you are already in the field of technology, it's a route that you may want to pivot your career to take a look at. And if you are already a startup founder, then this is a route that you shouldn't really be sleeping on because it's a fantastic opportunity for everyone who are interested in exploring tech-enabled visa opportunities. You're welcome again to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. At eMigr8, we focus on tech-enabled visa opportunities from all over the world, the UK, Canada, France, the US, Europe, and several different countries of the world. That's what we focus on in eMigr8 within the community. And also with the eMigr8 Open Day, what we do is we pick a visa route and then we try to drill down as much as possible on that particular visa route. Just to make sure that I'm not speaking to myself, could you put in this chat if you can hear me and also if you can see my screen? Thank you for doing that. Today, the focus will be on the UK Innovator Founder Visa Route. It's a new visa route launching in the UK. It's not a totally new visa route because really what's going on is that two visas are being cancelled, two routes that used to exist are being cancelled, being merged together to form this new visa route. So you're getting the best of both worlds in terms of this visa, but we'll drill into that during this session. Also, during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day, we would also look at a few things around how eMigr8 can help. We will look at a lot of information about the visa route. We'll look at some things that as a member of the community, you should be aware of, and you should probably be thinking about if you are interested in exploring this visa route as well. We will talk about all of these during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. It's a 1 hour, 30 minutes or so, and it will be packed with a lot of information. If you wait till the end, we also have a gift for you. If you wait till the end of this session, or if you are watching the replay video, if you watch it till the end, we have a gift for you as well. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. During the edition today, we will start by just sharing a bit about what eMigr8 is and also what eMigr8 is not. Spoiler alert, this is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice also. This is us sharing from our experience, sharing the different coaches that coach on the eMigr8 platform as well. They do not offer immigration or legal advice, but we're sharing a lot of information, and that information is very useful. We help with hand-holding and several others. We'll share a bit more about eMigr8 at the beginning of this session. We'll drill down into the visa routes that we will be exploring during today's session. And there are a couple of bonuses as well that we will be sharing with you as a member of our community today as well. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities. So if you're looking for other visa routes that are not tech-inclined, as at today, as at this moment, eMigr8 is only focused on tech-enabled visa opportunities. We'll also let you know that eMigr8, as I said, yes, we're focusing on the UK Innovator Founder route today, but eMigr8 does and focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities generally from all over the world. We've had sessions around Australian global talent. We've had sessions around the US O1 visa, the Canada startup visa, the skilled worker route for the UK, and several different visas that we focused on. We've had coaches come on this platform to share a lot of information about these visa opportunities, some information that you will not be able to Google, really. You're not able to find those information without having gone through that journey yourself. You get a lot of that with the eMigr8 Open Day, and also with us sharing this information within this structured community. We've had multiple guests, and many of these replay videos are available. Many of them are available for free, and so you just need to ask for them within the community, or you can just search for them as well within YouTube and within some of our communities. You will be able to find those videos. If you're interested in a particular route, we encourage you to please watch some of those replay videos. Today's focus will be on the UK Innovator founder visa route. We've spoken about other types of visa in the past, and we will speak about some of them also in the future. We've spoken in the past around the UK Tech Nation visa, or the UK Global Talent visa for the field of digital technology. The visa route is still open. For some of us that may have heard the news of, oh, they're going to shut down March 2023, the visa route is still open, and even as at today, Tech Nation is still the endorsing body as at this moment. But even if Tech Nation stops endorsing, they are moving their staff, and they will still, that visa route is still open. Anyway, we'll speak more about that in upcoming editions of eMigr8 Open Day. We've spoken about move to the US as a global talent, and that visa focuses on the US O1 visa. Canada startup visa and a few others are also coming up. These are editions of eMigr8 Open Day that we have planned. We typically have eMigr8 Open Days on the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of every month. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled pathways to relocation and settlement. What we try to describe to people in terms of why eMigr8 exists is that the visas themselves are really a side effect of a bigger objective. That bigger objective is you becoming globally attractive. We believe that if you are globally attractive, you would have many options from all over the world. You can decide to stay in your home economy and continue adding value. You can decide to work remotely from your home economy in many other jurisdictions, so earning foreign currency, but still living in your home economy. You can decide to relocate. You can decide to relocate temporarily. You can decide to relocate and settle in new jurisdictions. The truth is that many of these visas are not doing you a favor. The countries of the world, particularly the forward-thinking ones, they realize that talent is the battle now is for talents. They want you as a talent to move to their economy. They want you as a talent to build in their economy, to work in their economy, to live in their economy, bring your innovation, bring your ideas, bring your skill, and so on, because they know their economy will be better off because they have you in their jurisdiction. That's the reason why many of these visa opportunities exist, including the one we'll speak about today, the UK Innovator founder route, and several others from all over the world as well. What eMigr8 does is to help you become globally attractive. We do that in two ways. One could be your tech-enabled profile or your tech-enabled business, particularly a startup. And we're speaking about a startup visa, or a type of a startup visa today during the edition of eMigr8 Open Day. But that's what eMigr8 does, help you become globally attractive, so you have options. You have options of anywhere in the world that you would like to move to. You need to be able to package yourself. You need to be able to qualify based on the visa criteria and several other items along those lines. Our services covers information sessions. It covers general inquiry. It covers coaching and handholding. We help with preliminary assessment to say, do I already qualify as at this moment in time? We help with a self-directed roadmap to say, oh, I want to do this myself, but then can you give me some sort of roadmap that could help based on your experience, based on your knowledge, based on the information available to you as a platform. We work with coaches on the platform, basically. And then we can help with you and holding you through the roadmap as well to becoming globally attractive. Examples of what we help with the Global Talent Visa in the field of digital technology in the UK, we help with things like reviewing your global talent application. We also help with things like endorsement review to say, oh, I've applied, I was rejected, why was I rejected? And we help with things like that just to help people within the ecosystem and people within the economies of the world. eMigr8 services, we run a freemium model, meaning that we do a lot of things for free, but we do charge a premium for some things as well. Under the free side, the information and inspiration, so the open day you're attending at the moment or you're watching the video is one of the things that we do for free within the eMigr8 community and the eMigr8 platform, because we use this to be able to inform you about the opportunities that do exist around you and help you to also start looking at your profile and prepping your profile to qualify for some of these opportunities. We have eMigr8 communities as well. Currently, eMigr8 community is live on 6 different social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and a few other social media platforms as well. You can join those communities. We ask that you engage with us, like and share, and so on. We've got the monthly open days. We've got introductory videos. We've got open consultation sessions. We even have visa-specific office hours where you can come into those office hours and we are able to answer any question as regard any specific visa opportunity. So visa-specific means the open office hour could be around the Global Talent Visa, UK, and then we're focusing on that. It could be about the Australia Global Talent Visa, whatever it is, but usually we do that from time to time. We also have some short inquiry sessions that are one-to-one inquiry sessions. So there are some things you may not want to share publicly in an open consultation, which is generally recorded, available on YouTube. There are some things you may not want to even share in a closed session like the office hours, which is not recorded, but at the same time, it's not a private session. But you may be interested in having a private session of one time or the other to be able to ask specific questions around your profile. This is also available for free within eMigr8 community. Bear in mind, however, that for now, we are limited to 1 short inquiry session per person. Why that is important is we feel like you should take a look at and use and consume and Google and all of that, all the information that is possibly available. Spend the time, do your own research so that by the time you're coming for that session, you're asking very useful questions that you could not have answered by using any one of those other platforms or channels that I've just explained. On the premium side, we have a number of things that are premium as well. We've got the eMigr8 Circle, which is a premium community, a paid community available, and there are many features and many benefits for that paid community. We've got personalized coaching sessions, which are usually between 30 minutes to 1 hour, much longer, much focus on specific things from roadmap and whatever else it is that you do need. And several other features and several other services are available within the eMigr8 platform. If you're interested in any of these services, whether it's free, whether it's paid, you can use the link on the screen for you to start your journey within the eMigr8 community. We have packages as well. We have packages that helps with specific visa type. We've got the move to the UK as a global talent, focused on the UK global talent visa. We've got move to the UK as an innovator founder. We're focusing today on the UK Innovator Founder Visa. And so we do have a package to support you, help you, guide you, coach you around this specific visa opportunity. We've got moved to the US as a global talent. This focuses on the US O1 visa and maybe the EB1, EB2 visa as well, depending on what your profile is at the point where you are being onboarded for this particular package. eMigr8 community, the links are on your screen. We ask that join the community, you can engage with us, you can like and share, you can share ideas, you can share options. I'm seeing somebody sharing ideas at the moment. Thank you for that. You can share ideas, you can share comments and so on around the eMigr8 community. You can help each other, you can share information. That's why the community exists. That's why we're investing in managing the community. eMigr8 is currently being incubated by a company called Beacom Dev Center. Beacom Dev Center is a talent development platform. And with Beacom Dev Center, there are several other services available on Beacom Dev Center. And so I will spend a few moments to speak about that before we then drill down into the visa that we'll be speaking about today, which is the UK Innovator Founder Visa Route. One of those services is the Beacom Global Tech Program. And this is a program that is built on 3 key pillars: learn skills, gain experience, and then gain exposure in the field of technology. If you're a beginner and you're wondering, oh, I need a pathway for me to start my journey in the field of tech, this program is highly recommended because it takes you through that journey in a structured approach and with mentors, with guides, with programs and several classes and training for you to learn skills, for you to gain experience. You learn by doing, and for you to gain exposure in the field of tech. Several different knowledge tracks: Python and data science, PHP, backend development, mobile app front-end development, project service and product management, business analysis and agile, all combined, and several other knowledge tracks like that. So this is highly recommended for you. But also, if you're intermediate level in the field of tech and you realize that, oh, you still need the right level of experience and exposure to springboard your career to the next level, this program is also fantastic for you. You'll be able to start at the intermediate level, and then you can springboard your career to the next level of becoming globally attractive. If you're interested in that, the link is on the screen. You can just go in there and then beacom.net/globaltech. You can go in there and you will be able to apply for that particular program. The full program is 1 to 2 years, 1 year minimum, 2 years maximum. That's the full program. But we do have a subset of the program that is good to move from one level to the other. That is just 3 months. And that's also available. That incorporates some of those things in the full program: the tech training, the career coaching, apprenticeship, so you can learn on the job, and you have the right references from UK companies as necessary. That's available. Same link, Global Tech, beacom.net/globaltech. We've also got the mentoring platform. For those of us that are experts in the room, highly advanced in our career, highly advanced in our skill, we're asking that you come on the platform and mentor. Something you may know for some of us in the room is that mentoring in a structured platform such as the Beacom mentoring platform is a fantastic way of showing yourself as globally attractive. It could help you qualify for a tech visa. And if you check, you will see a number of tech visas we've spoken about where mentoring is one of the index that they look at to see if you are globally attractive, if you do qualify for this visa type. We're asking, if you're interested, just fill the form on the screen on the mentoring platform. We're looking for mentors. We've got a number of mentees, hundreds, almost thousands of them that are looking for people that are subject matter experts such as yourself to mentor them to their next level in the field of tech. And it helps you as well to build your profile in the field of tech. So it's a win-win situation. Labs by Beacom is another service of Beacom Dev Center. And what I'm talking about right now are some of the services of Beacom Dev Center, which incubates eMigr8. And eMigr8 is the platform that runs the eMigr8 community, and eMigr8 community is the one bringing this session to you to focus on the UK Innovator Founder route, and we'll get into that within the next few minutes. Labs by Beacom helps you to build a product-led digital technology with your team. It's a 3 to 6 months program. When you register, you get paired with a number of other people who are interested in building startups as well. It's a pre-incubator program. So it's not an incubator program, it's pre-incubator. And it helps if you are totally new to the act of building startups. It's 3 to 10 people, and then you get to create a startup from scratch. It's a learning and practical learning. It will help improve your career, and also it will help you build a portfolio as a techie. If you're looking for some sort of internship in your CV, this is fantastic. If you're looking for tech portfolio, this is also a fantastic program to take a look at. The link is on the screen, beacon.net/labs. If you're interested in this, please go to that link. The last program I will speak about is the Tech Career Coaching Service, which we also run within Beacon Dev Center. The Tech Career Coaching Service focuses on you gaining tech employment and also helps with recruiting for you as an individual talent in the field of technology. This service is for intermediate to advanced people or very advanced people in the field of tech, and it helps you to land your next role faster, particularly roles that comes with a certificate of sponsorship. This is only available for now in the UK. We are looking forward to expanding that over the next couple of years, but for now, only available in the UK. And what it does is it helps you to build the relevant experience in your target country. It connects you with tech recruiters. It helps you with jobs that comes with sponsorship, visa sponsorship, and several other items along this line is the Tech Career Coaching Program. If you're interested, go to beacon.net/tech career coaching and you can indicate interest and we'll take it from there. It's a coaching style of service as well, but it's something that we would recommend. Back to the visas that are available. From an eMigr8 perspective, as I mentioned earlier, there are several visa opportunities that are available from all over the world. And this is just a subset of some of those visa opportunities that are available. Right. You will notice the UK, US, Canada, France, and all. And you can take a screenshot, Google these visas, programs, and all. But this is the one we'll be speaking about today, the UK Innovator Founder Route. What has happened and as is launching on the 13th of April is the fact that the starter visa will no longer be available for new people. The Innovator visa will also no longer be available for new people, and you can now apply for the UK Innovator Founder route. So that is what is going on with the UK. They are combining two visas. It's still the startup visa route really, but then it has a lot of advantages, and we'll drill down into some of those at this point in time as well. But yeah, please bear in mind there are several other visa opportunities available that are tech-enabled. This is not an exhaustive list of visas that are available from all over the world. Remember, eMigr8 focuses on just tech-enabled visa routes, right? But this is also not even an exhaustive list of tech-enabled visa routes that are available from all over the world. This is just to give you an idea to say you can look around and start taking a look at some of these opportunities. There's a lowest common denominator across all these visa opportunities, and this is where eMigr8 comes in. Be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have option. For eMigr8, we focus on visa opportunities that has a pathway to settlement. We focus on visa opportunities where you can move with your family. We focus on visa opportunities where beginners can plan, right? And in some cases, you can plan to say, I'm going to use an intermediate level visa, and then before I get to my pathway to destiny, in quotes. We focus only on tech-enabled visa opportunities, and to a large extent, many of these visa opportunities, we would do open days where we would focus on the visa opportunity, we'll break it down, we'll help you understand what is required and all. For some of us, that's all we may need, right? But for some of us, you may need additional help. The free community is available for you. Many of our free services are available for you, but then some of us may need much more help than that. And that's the reason why we do have our premium offerings as well. If you don't yet qualify, what you should be doing is that you should be planning, because this visa opportunity exists today. It will not exist forever. The UK startup visa existed last year. It no longer exists practically as at this moment in time. And the same thing would happen to any other visa route that is created, including this one that we'll be discussing today. If you need help, you can send us a WhatsApp or send us a message on any of these numbers, or you can go to beacon.net/emigrate for you to drill down into what is needed. At this point, I'll pause for a moment to just say, if you have a question, could you please drop it in the chat? If you have a question around anything that we've mentioned so far, we'll allow significant time for question and answer during this session today. Most of the question would have to be in the chat. But then if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. You would likely forget before, because we are going to be bombarding you with information in the next section that we're getting into now. So if you have questions on anything I've said so far, please drop them in the chat, and then we'll be right back in a moment. We'll just pause for you to drop your questions in the chat. If you're watching the replay video, you can also drop your questions in the comment section. We're back. And thank you for joining us. For those of us that are just joining us, could you please confirm again if you can see my screen, and if you can hear me? Could you just drop that in the chat? I think I stopped sharing my screen at some point during the last session. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Fantastic. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, so we're going to focus on, and there's a question for everyone in the room. I've listed a number of countries in this right now. Could you guess what they all have in common? Many countries: Australia, Austria, Canada, Lithuania, Mauritius, Portugal, they have something in common in the context of today's session. Can anyone guess what it is? UAE, Italy, Ireland, France. You can just guess in the chat. We know you can't unmute yourself, but you can guess in the chat. Yeah, I'm seeing that. They're all offering tech-enabled visa opportunities, but specifically, they are all offering startup visa opportunities. The UK Innovator founder visa route is also a startup visa, really. They only needed to change the name because they already had the startup visa route that they are canceling. And so that's what it is at the end of the day. For what you need to think about when you are thinking about startup visas from all over the world is you want to think about how hard it is to secure. What stage should your startup be for you to be able to secure the visa? Does it have a pathway to settlement? Must your company have been funded, meaning should you have raised significant investment for you to be able to look at that visa route. For those of us that have families in the room and you're looking for a pathway for relocation and settlement for your family, you may want to check, oh, can your family move along with you? Because some startup visas for some countries does not allow family members. Some of them are temporary in nature, meaning that it doesn't have a pathway to settlement. It's just for 2 years and so on, but no pathway to settlement, for example. You may also want to check, can a beginner start somewhere? Can you get it as a beginner in the field of technology? And can you start with zero startup experience and so on? These are some of the things that you may want to note as regards different startup visas in the world. With the UK Innovator Founder Visa route, it ticks many of these boxes that I've just shown you a few moments ago. What the UK Innovator Founder Visa route is a combination of two visas that existed in the UK before now. With the UK Startup Visa, and we've done a number of eMigr8 open days in the UK about the UK Startup Visa, we have a number of eMigr8 successes using the UK Startup Visa to move. With the Startup Visa, there was no pathway to settlement, but it was a visa where you can move to the UK, you can work in the UK, you can work with other companies in the UK as long as you are focused on building your own startup. And then you could also move from that visa type to a different type of visa. One of those visas that you could move to is the UK Innovator Visa. So you can move to the UK Innovator Visa from the Startup Visa, or you could get it directly. With the UK Innovator Visa, these are visas that no longer exist, by the way, as at this moment, and I'm coming to the Innovator Founder route. With the UK Innovator Visa, it will add a pathway to settlement, but you needed to show that your startup has £50,000 of investment, as £50,000 has been invested into your startup. You really didn't have to show the money to say you have £50,000 in a particular account. Some people had that misconception. What you needed to do is to show that amount of money had been invested into your startup, meaning you are bringing £50,000, you are taking £50,000 to the UK, right? Add a pathway to settlement, 3 years to ILR, and then it had all those features. What has happened is that the UKVI has decided to then cancel these two visa routes and then focus everything on one new visa route. It's a direct pathway, and that new visa route is the UK Innovator Founder Visa. It would launch on April 13, 2023. And so they will start taking applications from that time moving forward. And it's a visa route that we think that you should take a look at. With the Innovator Founder Visa route, it has a direct pathway to settlement. You no longer need the £50,000 requirement for you to show to say has been invested in your startup, but there are some caveats to that, and we'll speak about that shortly. You can work full-time in the UK from day one, as long as you are spending considerable time to build your startup. Unlike the Innovator Visa, the former Innovator Visa, where you couldn't do that. You couldn't work, you could only work in your own business with the former Innovator Visa. You couldn't even do contracting, right? You still can't do subcontracting, that is, you still can't do that with this visa route. However, you can work full-time for a different company while you are also building your startup, maybe at night or part-time and all of that. You have to build your startup, though. You have to be building your startup. I said it 3 times. You have to be building your startup. Also, if you are focusing on this visa route for settlement, your startup must be successful for you to settle in the UK. I come from Nigeria, and so in local parlance, we say your startup must blow, right? For you to be able to settle in the UK. As for ILR, it's a pathway to settlement, but for you to settle in the UK, there's a gate asking for specific requirements. Like you need to have employed at least 10 people for a period of time for you to be able to settle. You need to show amount of money that your startup has made. There are a couple of options. You need to pick some. those requirements are still there for the Innovator founder visa route. But there's a way around this. There's a way around this as well. And there's a way that even though your main focus should be that you are building this startup, you are building this innovative idea that is scalable and viable, you are building that idea, and your main focus has to be that this is going to be successful. You have to pour yourself into it. But then, of course, you are moving with your family. You also probably want security, and there are some things you can do, like you can switch visa route as well in the future. So it's important that you are planning to work on your startup. But as I said at the beginning and during the last session where we spoke about the fact that you can start a startup in 3 to 6 months, we do have a program that helps people to do that, for example, right? So there are many things around this. But yeah, those are some high-level information around the Innovator founder visa route. How we can help at eMigr8, we've got talent development programs. I spoke about some of those in a few moments ago. We've got startup builder programs like the Labs by Bincom, and we've got eMigr8 that helps with coaching you around tech-enabled visa routes. And so if you have questions, we will now drill down a little further into the Innovator founder visa route. We'll drill down a little more into that visa route now in this new session. But if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. As I said earlier, you may forget the questions. We will not have time for an open consultation during this session. We will not have time. It's not me. We will not have time because there's a lot more we are going to cover. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and then we would answer those questions as you drop them in the chat once we get to the section for question and answer. So drop them in the chat. We'll pause for a moment here as well. While you do that, you can put your questions in the chat. We'll be right back to you. All right. So as I said, in this section, we will drill down into a little more around the UK Innovator founder visa route and speak a little more around some of the features of the UK Innovator visa founder route. The UK Innovator visa founder route launches on April 13, 2023. And it's a route that we believe is viable for even a beginner in the field of technology to explore, to move themselves and their family to the UK. If, however, you already have significant experience or some experience in the field of technology, it's a fantastic route for you to also explore because you are starting at a better level than someone that is a beginner. A beginner can explore this route, but someone in tech has a better advantage. But then if you already run a startup, you're already a startup founder, your startup has started, fantastic route for you to explore. We believe that you should explore this route. If your startup now has a lot of traction and it's an innovative startup, you're running something that is scalable and viable, this is a route for you to explore. I'm sharing my screen, and the visa route is for founders that are seeking to establish a business in the UK. There are 3 key criteria that your idea and your business will be assessed on. Number 1 is that it must be innovative. Number 2, it must be viable. Number 3, it must be scalable. Innovative does not necessarily mean it must be totally new. It can be innovative because you are doing something that already exists in a different way. Many people may not know, but Facebook was not the first social media platform. I come from a generation that used MySpace. I come from a generation that used i5 before Facebook was started. But Facebook was at that time considered innovation because they came up with some ideas that solved something, a problem that we didn't even know we had as at that point in time. Instagram was doing photo sharing. Were we not sharing photos when Instagram launched? But Instagram is considered innovation. And there are several others like that you probably know about. And these are innovations that are solving specific problems. So innovation can be, you think of a fantastic new idea that nobody has thought of before, but it could also be solving a problem in a new way. So it's important that you don't discount yourself to say, oh, they said innovative. Oh, I don't have any innovative idea, so I don't qualify. Don't discount yourself. We can also coach you, work with you, look at problems that you do know exist, and then scale something from that as well. That's part of how we help at eMigr8. The idea has to be viable. Viable means that, and viable is also subjective, because who would have thought that Uber was viable when Uber started? Who would have thought that, oh, we want you to use an air mattress and put it in your sitting room for anybody that comes to town, was viable when it started? That's Airbnb today. It's a really large organization. For those, I assume you're on this call, you know what Airbnb is. Right. So it has to be viable. It means that by the time you look at your business plan, by the time we look at your documentation and all of that, the business plan is what you need really for this visa. But if you write a business plan based on an existing technology that you've already started, you've already tested, you have some paying customer in your home economy, you stand a better chance. It has to be viable. And then it has to be scalable. Scalable means that this is something that can grow. One of the reasons why technology companies are very favored in the world is because people realize that you can go from 0 to 1 million in one day. You can go from 1 million to 1 billion in another day. Right, that's technology. That's something that can scale. But then yours doesn't have to scale that fast, right? It doesn't have to be that aggressive, but it has to be something that your endorsing body are able to adjudge to say it is scalable. Right. In terms of the visa itself, there's something important that you should know. And this document is on the public domain. You can look for this document in the public domain, so you can take a look at some of the information that has been passed across as regards this visa opportunity. I was hoping to drill down into the document itself, but I can see I would not have that time during this session. But something important is that there is a new requirement that has been added to the former Innovator visa route, which is that they are going to now assess if you are a genuine Innovator founder. That will be assessed. Previously, with the starter visa and with the Innovator visa, it was not in the requirements. All that was in the requirements is that the endorsing body was going to endorse your idea. And if the endorsing body endorsed your idea, you were 99% sure that you would get the visa. That was correct up until about April or March 2022. What then changed is that the UKVI, the UK government, realized that a number of endorsing bodies were just endorsing people that brought money to them. A number of endorsing bodies were no longer endorsing based on, oh, this is innovative, viable, and scalable. They were just endorsing just nonsense, if I may put it that way. A number of endorsing bodies lost their license initially, but then over a period of time, they've now scaled it back, canceled the visa route. Those that have the visa don't have to worry. Let me just mention that because I may not have time to talk about that later. If you already have the visa, you're on the visa route. I see a number, if one or two people in our community that are on that visa route right now, you do not need to worry. Your endorsing body is still your endorsing body. You can Google it as legacy endorsing body. You are fine. They will still endorse you up to ILR. They will still even assess you and be taking a look at you during the check assessment period. They will still do all of those for you as a legacy endorsing body. But with the new Innovator Founder Visa route, there are now only 3 endorsing bodies. 2 of those endorsing bodies were already in the previous list of about 60, but then there's a new one, which is a consortium of some other endorsing bodies coming together to form a new company. I'll get to that during this time. I will say again, if you have questions, drop it in the chat. We'll take questions in the chat. Genuine Innovator Founder requirement is something that you need to be aware of. You will be assessed based on that. I was telling the story about the old visa type. So sometime around March 2022, the endorsement rates versus those that get the visa then dropped to about 50%. And the reason for that, so it used to be about 99%. So if you get the endorsement, you get the visa for any one of Innovator visa or Startup visa. If the endorsement body had endorsed you, you were going to get the visa. You were 99% sure of that. It dropped to about less than 50%. And the reason for that is because the Home Office then started doing interviews and started reviewing again what the endorsing bodies should have reviewed. They were reviewing the business plans. They were inviting founders who applied for the visa for interview so that they would also assess to make sure that the endorsing body was doing the correct thing. And a number of people were failing their interviews. They were failing their interview because they were not genuine innovator founders in the first place. So if you're interested in these routes and you're a beginner, what we are saying for you to go through these routes is that you will be building your profile as an innovator founder. We are not asking you to pretend. We don't deal with people like that in the eMigr8 community. It's not a shortcut route. It is a route where we will work with you. We will build you up as an innovator founder with a genuinely innovative idea that you are going to build. We want that idea to be something that you want to actually explore. But then in exploring that, you also get those side effects. You get the side effect of being able to move to the UK to build that startup, and you can do many other things. Your dependents can move as well. Your dependent can go to school, can work, and all of that in the UK. So this is an important requirement. Then 3 endorsing bodies are Innovator International, that's Geminos. The legal name is Geminos. The actual company is Innovator International. You can Google them. Investors was also an existing endorsing body, and they won one of the bid. And then UK Endorsement Services, this is the one that is a consortium of a few former endorsing bodies who are now coming together to form this particular company. So these are the new endorsing bodies, but it gets better. The Home Office as well, before in the old Innovator visa, what used to happen is that the endorsing body would say to you that come and pay us maybe £20,000, £15,000 and all to join our program or to rent our co-working space or something. So you couldn't pay to get the endorsement, but you can pay for a service. And then when you get that service, you get the endorsement. So a lot of the business model was pay for our program. When you get that program or get into that program, you automatically get our endorsement letter. Right. And that's what a lot of the endorsing bodies were doing. And in scaling that, a lot of endorsing bodies were endorsing companies that were not truly innovative, scalable, and viable. The Home Office has also worked on this now. At this point, all you will need to pay the endorsing body over the 3-year period is just £2,000. And that would be, I believe, £1,000 as a start. Don't quote me, wait for April 13 so that once it's launched, you will see the actual figure. But part of that you will pay just at the beginning for the endorsement review, not for the endorsement, for you to be reviewed, for your idea to be reviewed, and then you pay the rest of them over your period of time when you move to the UK. So that is also changing. How we know about this endorsing body is because of the bid that was opened by the Home Office, and legally by the Home Office, you have to declare those that the companies that win bids that are done in the UK structured society. That doesn't happen in where I come from. Yeah. So, and it talks about a number of things. I see I've run significantly out of time, right? And Innovator International, which is one of the companies we worked with a number of times, a number of our founders are with Innovator International, has also announced, I believe it was today, has announced that, oh yeah, they are one of the endorsing bodies, and then you can read this on the screen, or you can take a screen grab and you can read this later as well. So that's the move to the UK as an innovator founder. Startup visa gone, innovator visa gone. And so this is what we will say to you. And after this section, I'll pause and then we'll take questions. If you've ever considered something like the student visa routes, and this is a route that would likely be better and is also a cheaper route for you ultimately. If you don't have a tech background, right? Even if you have 0 days of experience in the field of technology, this is a route that could be useful for you. If you have a tech background, it is beneficial. It is very beneficial if you have a tech background, but it is not required. And then if you have a startup background, whether you've worked in a startup before or you are building a startup at the moment, it is extremely useful as well. Comparing the options, student visa route, the startup visa route no longer exists. We used to run a program called the Move to UK in 3 to 6 months, focused on the startup visa route. That route no longer exists, but there's a new route that is a better route than the startup visa route that used to exist. With the student visa route, what you would get is 3 years total, because you move to the UK to do a master's that you don't need. In some cases, if you need a master's and you really wanted a master's, and it wasn't because you are doing it for a pathway to settlement, I'm not saying don't move or go to the UK to do a master's, but we see a number of people in the community and in the ecosystem who apply for masters because it's a pathway to settlement. So they find a master's they don't need. Some people are doing their third masters, right, that they don't need. And then they do that for 1 year, because the UK also has the 2 years post-study visa. So you get a total of 3 years. With that route, there is no pathway to settlement. So when you move to the UK, you will still need to figure out a new route to settlement, right? And you could only work as part-time. You can only work part-time, 20 hours as a student. So that's the one option. But then there's the Innovator Founder Visa route, which is 3 years. And after 3 years, you will qualify for ILR, which is indefinite leave to remain. Startup visa did not have that. You could not qualify directly. You had to switch your visa or switch your visa whichever way with the startup visa route. But with the Innovator Founder Visa route, you now have a direct pathway to settlement. You can also work full-time for other organizations as long as you are also building your startup. And it's a much cheaper route if what you're looking for is a pathway to settlement or a pathway to relocation. It's a much cheaper route, launched April 13, 2023. And that's something that we feel like you should explore if you are looking for a pathway to move to the UK. How we can help at eMigr8 is we can help you with the endorsement review. We can help you from starting that startup itself. I spoke about the Labs by Income program that helps you become a startup founder effectively. I spoke about our coaching services that helps you with the roadmap to that direction. We spoke about the fact that if you need help with building and growing your innovation and adding value to the UK ecosystem, we can help with this as well. And then also, this is a direct pathway to settlement. However, it's a hard pathway to settlement. I need to mention that. But you can switch within the 3 years because the number of years still counts. So you can switch to the UK Global Talent, you can switch to the UK Skilled Worker Visa and other visa options as well that you can switch to. But we will not work with you if you are not interested in building that startup that could potentially change the world. We're saying that you can do best of both worlds. You can be building that startup, you can move your family, you can work somewhere else. And at the same time, who is to say that what you're doing is not going to be building the next Facebook? And so that's about the Innovator visa, Innovator founder route. That's us just sharing with you a lot of information about that route. There's a lot of information in public domain as of today, and there will be a lot more information in the public domain in the near future as well. We think that you should explore the route, take a look at it, have a conversation with us, and see if that's something that may work for you and your profile to moving and settling in the UK. As I said earlier, please, if you have questions, best thing to do is to drop them in the chat. And then when we come back, we will be going through the questions in the chat. And if you're watching the replay video, we would look at some of those comments and answer questions as well in the replay video when we are able to. All right, so we'll be right back in a moment, and then we will be looking at questions. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And then once we're back, we will be drilling down into questions. Please ask questions. Those questions would help us also to share information that we may have around anything that you may be interested in knowing about this particular visa route. So please drop them in the chat, and then we'll be taking the questions as much as possible. We'll be right back. All right, we're back again. Our last session would be around just answering questions. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We would answer as many questions as we can during this session. So the first one I'm seeing here says, I found myself, I want to know, I'm new, and what I want to know here is, can I apply even if I am new? I am new. Yeah, so the answer is yes. Even a beginner can work on this route. A beginner can work on this Innovator founder visa route. That's what we're saying, right? You will need to build yourself as a startup founder. We've got the program like Labs by Income that helps you to do that, but then there are many other programs out there that can help you do that as well. You will need to become a genuine founder. Right, but who is to say that you could not be building something that would actually change the world, which is the reason why we think you should explore this route, even if you are not in tech at all. For those of us that are in tech and you have significant experience in tech, you have a better advantage because you have significant experience in tech and you probably already know the story about tech startups and all. We're saying that build a tech startup or start thinking about those ideas that you've thought about before, that you've thought that you would work on. And this can be your pathway. It could be your ticket and your visa to moving using the UK Innovator founder visa route. And if you already have a startup, which particularly one that has some traction, particularly one that is adjudged innovative, then this is also a route that's it's a no-brainer if you're interested in moving to the UK. It's a no-brainer, really. You will need to get endorsed by the endorsing body, one of the three that I mentioned. your idea and your business plan and everything has to look the part. And these are some of the ways we can help from an eMigr8 perspective. We worked with a number of these endorsing bodies, and at the very least, one of the endorsing body that is one of the three at this point. Next question I can see says, technician not available, what is our fate? Today's session is focused on the UK Innovator founder route. That's what we are focused on today's session, but we will just say to you again that the UK Global Talent Visa route for the field of digital technology is still open. If you qualify, you can apply for it. And where you would apply today is still on technician side. There are a number of things going on. There's a company that is likely going to buy all of technician's assets, and we will likely keep the name technician. So what is changing is management is changing to a large extent. That's what will likely happen. We don't have confirmation that that has happened as at this moment I'm speaking to you, but that's what will happen. But your question is the route still available? The answer is yes. If you qualify for that route, it's a better route than the UK Innovator Founder Visa route, because with the UK Global Talent Visa route, remember I mentioned with the Innovator Founder route, for you to be able to switch to ILR, your startup has to be mega successful. You need to have hired 10 staff and a number of other requirements. You need to go check those requirements. We're saying that you should be on that route, but there are other ways you can exit that route and jump to a different visa route. And we can speak a bit more about those things privately, but this is a viable route for relocation and settlement. Can I know what is no longer available and what is still available? I think I've answered that, so I'll move on. What's the requirement for this visa? You need a business plan of an idea that is adjudged innovative, scalable, and viable by one of the three endorsing bodies. You will then be able to apply for the visa from the Home Office. But there are a number of things you need to consider. Aside from this short requirement I've mentioned, you need to be a genuine founder. You need to be. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, so with eMigr8, we focus on tech-enabled visa opportunities. That's what we focus on in eMigr8. We focus only on tech-enabled visa opportunities. So there are several other visa opportunities out there. Student visa, care visa, all sorts of visas are available for different reasons for different people. But at eMigr8, we focus on only tech-enabled visa opportunities for now. There are discussions where we may expand that in the future, but for now, we're only focused on tech-enabled visa opportunities, and we focus on that across the world, not just the UK, US, Canada, France, and several other countries of the world. But today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day is focused on the UK Innovator Founder Visa route. Somebody said, I heard that the startup only has to meet 2 of the criteria. We are not aware of that. What we understand is you need to meet those 3 criteria: innovative, viable, and scalable. You need to meet those, your startup needs to meet those 3 criteria. I was also going to mention, even though the £50,000 requirement has been taken off, you need to still show that you will be able to fund your startup. That means many things, right? It doesn't mean you need to show the money. It doesn't even mean you need to have the money, but you need to show that you will be able to fund your startup. But that means a lot of things, and we can drill down into that as well. Next question says, is there a specific sector in the field of technology that this visa route is focused on? It's not focused on a sector of technology. It's just focused on you as a startup founder. So you can be building any kind of startup. You can be building something on AI, cryptocurrency, services, marketing. It could be anything, right? It could be anything at all, as long as it is innovative, scalable, and viable. It could be you are selling rice, but you are selling it in a new approach. It could be whatever it is. Shopify, for example, is innovation, right? Amazon existed before Shopify, but Shopify is considered innovation as well, because even though Amazon, you will have thought, oh, Amazon has done everything that had to do with innovation as regards e-commerce, there are many companies that have started after Amazon that are doing different niches around innovation. And that's something I should mention as well. You may want to look at niches. So look at a big sector, but look at a niche that you are familiar with in that sector and build something there. That's something that you may be able to do as well. How early should my startup idea be to be qualified for this visa route? Do I need to have traction, and what kind of traction, if any, is needed? The answer is your startup can simply be a business plan. That's the answer. But your endorsing body are going to be checking a lot of things. So if you are working with us, we will be building that startup with you. We will be building that startup with you. We will be getting the first customer. You can do all of this within 3 to 6 months, right? So that you are able to show that, oh, this is viable, this is innovative, this is scalable. So if you're working with eMigr8's coaching package that has to do with this visa route, we will be building it so that it has traction. But the visa requirement really just says you need to have that business plan that you can prove that, oh, you can support the business plan, you can grow that business, you are genuinely trying to build that business in the UK, and several other things that you can find in the public domain. That's what the requirement says. But if you're going to work with us in our coaching service, we will actually be building that startup. We may even take equity in that startup, right? Because what we want to see is that, yeah, it's, who knows, it may be the next big thing as well. But you get the advantage of you're able to move with your family. You get the advantage that you're able to move and work in the UK, and you can switch visa type in the future. You can switch visa type when you move to the UK as well. But that cannot be that, oh, I will not do anything, I'm just going to fake something, and then when I move, I'll just throw it away. No. And the route has also been tightened because some people were doing that. So the route itself has been tightened. Is the reason why there's this new route, but it is a viable route for even beginners. And we can handhold you through the process of getting through this visa route, and other visa routes are available as well. Next question here says, if the criteria says one startup doesn't have to already be in existence, how does one prove that they really have a viable startup and the necessary skill? It just says that you don't have to have registered it in the UK for the old requirement, that is, right? So it doesn't say that, oh, you shouldn't have started doing anything at all. That's not what the requirement says, but we can speak a bit more around that over time. Are there any sectors, startup categories that was the name? Let me tell you something funny. They are not even saying it must be a tech startup. The Innovator founder visa route is not only for tech startups. So the question of, oh, which tech category must it be is not a real question that you need to be asking, because you could be doing other things that can be innovative, viable, and scalable that is not in the field of technology. Of course, if you're in the field of technology, it is easier to show those things in the field of technology than any other field in the world. And of course, from an eMigr8 perspective, we focus only for now on tech-enabled visas. Somebody asked, what possible challenges would I face if I'm to kick off the visa application process? An interesting question. So your first challenge is the inertial challenge, because remember I said that you need to be a genuine founder. That's important. So the first thing is that, are you really a genuine founder? Is that something that you would like to do? Is that something that you would like to be, right? Are you even in the field of tech, right? Is that something you like to? Yes, tech is an high-paying field and all of those kind of things. But if you're a beginner, tech can be a very frustrating field to join. Can be very frustrating if you're not passionate about tech. For some people that I coach, I tell them, form the passion, build the passion one in any way possible. But the truth is that if you are not passionate, in some cases, it can be frustrating in the field of tech. So that would be the first challenge that you probably may have. Is it something you can surmount? Yes, millions of people every day have surmounted that same challenge. So you are not an exception. The next question is that in terms of building a startup is a very incredibly challenging enterprise. It's not easy, but it is doable. It's challenging because only 1 out of every 10 startups will be successful. And I'm being cautiously optimistic when I say 1 out of 10. Probably the figure is even 1 out of 100 or something like that. So that may also be a challenge to say the chances of success from when you say go is 1 out of 10. But this is something you need to know. The fact that you are building that startup at all already qualifies you for the visa. Your startup does not have to be successful for you to move with these visa routes. Your startup just needs to be something that could work. The UK government know that only 1 out of 10 startups will succeed, which is the reason why they've used to say for you to get ILR on this visa route, there are a number of barriers that you need to cross. And if you see that, oh, I will not meet those barriers by your second year or so, then you can switch visa type, because by that time, you only have 1 more year to ILR. If depending on the visa type you switch to anyway, you only have 1 more year to ILR. So there's a method to it, basically, to say, oh, you can move with this visa, you can build what they've asked you to build in their economy, and then maybe this would be that 1 out of 10. But even if it's not the 1 out of 10 that will be successful, you've gotten the visa, you've moved. So your primary objective of moving your family or moving yourself to a new jurisdiction, you've achieved that. And then the icing on the cake, if it happens, is the fact that you have a successful startup to show for it as well. I hope that answers that question. And if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I'm just working downwards on the questions I can see. Can I apply with a co-founder? The answer is yes, but your co-founder will be assessed separately. So each one of you will be assessed. It can be the same idea, but both of you will be assessed separately for this particular visa route. So bear that in mind. How do I start as a beginner in the field of technology? One way you can start is join the next cohort of Labs by Bincom. That may be useful for you. If you're interested in our premium, and that is free to some people. We usually give about 2 or 3 slots free to eMigr8 community per cohort. So that's one. And if we need to pay for it as well, maybe you should. So that's one way to start. Labs by Bincom is not the only way you can join. Just full disclosure, there are many other ways in which you can start if you are a total beginner in tech. If you're a total beginner in tech as well, a program we recommend for you is the Bincom Global Tech Program, because eMigr8 is incorporated into the Bincom Global Tech Program. And so we recommend that for you as well if you're a total beginner in the field of tech. And then if you're already in the field, if you're already a building startup, you already know what it is you are doing and so on, then you can start with the eMigr8 coaching services. We do a number of things for free. We mentioned to you, and we're coming to the end of this program, to say that we had something as a gift for you if you waited or watched this video to the end. And that gift is this. Normally, we only do one free one-to-one short inquiry or coaching session for free to individuals in the community. But because you spend time on this session, you can get a second one for free as well, meaning that you can use the first coaching service to say, oh, ask specific question, and then when you go back, try to do some things, you can come back again, ask additional question. This is in addition to things like the eMigr8 community that is available for free. This is in addition to our open day sessions where we bring different people who have gone through different routes available for free as well. So that's something that you may want to make use of. Join the eMigr8 community. It's an absolutely fantastic community. We had about 4 global talent get endorsements in last month, and that was, very interesting, where different people were just declaring endorsement. It was really nice to see that happening within the community, and many more are happening privately as well that we know about, and some of them will be talking and sharing their testimonials on this platform when they are fully settled in their new jurisdiction. You need to build consultation. How can I go about it? There's a link that you can use to book the short inquiry session. We do have paid coaching sessions as well, but what we usually advise is book the free one first of all, just to know whether or not it's something that you do need. And I believe one of my colleagues will have dropped the link to book the session in the chat as well. Oh, yes. So for the visa extension, yes, that is correct. You only need 2 criteria of the number of criteria. I can't remember how many there are. You only need 2 of those criteria for you to be able to cross to ILR. But those criteria are not easy, but they are achievable. But they are only achievable, one, if you have money or if your startup is really successful. And so we will work with you for both of them, but just in case that doesn't happen, you have other options as well, because you will have moved and you have other opportunities that have opened up to you that you can use at that point, which is why we say this is a viable pathway to relocation and settlement. Somebody says, and we're coming to the end of this, do you consider who is a beginner and is moving to being can be considered as tech-enabled and considered for this route? The answer is yes, because you would be building a startup. Your core skill is business analysis, but yes, you would be building a startup with your core skill, but we need to work with you, or you need to work with yourself to find the right idea that would be innovative, viable, and scalable. And we can have a conversation with us along these lines as well. The answer is no. The questions, I should have been reading out the questions. Must the startup serve UK market, or any market is okay as long as the company is registered in the UK? You will need to employ staff in the UK. So yes, your company can be UK based that is serving multiple jurisdictions. You could be using the company, and I'm doing that with some partners as well, with one of the companies I work with. You could be doing that to say you're using the UK as a base for a global expansion or an expansion to the African market and so on. So yes, you can actually do that as well, as long as the legal entity, actually what they want is the IP, as long as the intellectual property is situated or is going to be situated in the UK. They want more unicorns in the UK. It's part of why they have this visa opportunity available. And yes, so the answer is yes. Your idea can be something that will serve international markets, but you would have to situate that in the UK, serving that international market. Bear in mind, however, that if you are planning to qualify for indefinite leave to remain on this visa route, you need to be in the UK for at least 6 months to 9 months a year. So bear that in mind if you are not planning to be based in the UK and you're just trying to move your family. We have a few people who do that or did that within our community. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We hope that it was useful. We hope that you got valuable information, and we believe that you did. And if you did, can you please just drop in the chat or in the comments to let us know and give us the feedback. It helps us to continue doing this, to know that we are actually making a difference and we're actually helping. It helps us to continue doing this. So please drop in the chat to let us know, to say if this was insightful. If you have additional questions, we can continue the conversation in any of our communities. We're on Twitter, we're on WhatsApp, Telegram, YouTube, and several other communities as well. We're on those communities. You can find the link my colleague has dropped in the chat. You can join those communities. You can ask questions there. We ask that you share this information with others as well. There are people in your network that do not have this information, and this information is important for them to have, because a number of the people in the eMigr8, a number of eMigr8 coaches, one of the things they will say when they talk is that, oh, a friend or somebody shared this information with me, I ignored it, and then somebody else shared it with me, and then I took a look at it, and that's what it is that I use to move to the next level in my career, and so on. So this happens as well. So please do share, like, comment, share your perspective. If you have information that you feel would be useful, that is around tech-enabled visa opportunities, right? You can share in the community as well. It's an open community where you can share those information. A number of other things are available for free in the eMigr8 community, but we do have premium services and we have a premium community as well. So you may want to join the premium community where you get closer to some of the coaches on the platform and so on. You may want to join that. It's a paid community. That's why we said premium, right? And you may be interested in some of our paid coaching services as well. Those are also available within the eMigr8 platform. So we run a freemium model. A number of things are available for free, but then a number of things are available for you also if you need a little more help, and that falls in the premium side of things. I'll just recap something I said earlier. I'll just recap it again now. If you've ever considered that, you would move to the UK using the UK student visa route, you may want to consider the UK Innovator founder route. The reason is because with the UK student visa route, it doesn't have a pathway to settlement. You are not able to work full-time from day one when you move to the UK. You can only do 20 hours. And then at the end of the day, you still need to find a new pathway to settlement after the cumulative 3 years. What do we mean by the 3 years? The first year, you are probably doing a master's, and we see a number of people doing masters that they don't need because it's a pathway to settlement. The first year, you do your master's, and then you have 2 years post-study, and you don't have a pathway to settlement within those 3 years. We feel like you should consider other visa routes. If you, number one, are a startup founder, or you already have a startup in your portfolio, or you have startup experience, we feel like you should consider Innovator founder visa route for the UK. If you are in tech at all and you have some sort of tech experience, we feel like you should consider this route in your research in terms of the available route to move or relocate. And then even if you're a beginner in the field of technology, meaning that you've not done anything in the field of technology before, this is also a viable route that you may want to explore. With the Innovator founder visa route, it's you get 3 years once you get endorsed initially, and it's a direct pathway to settlement in the UK. You get 3 years there, and it's a pathway to settlement. What you would then need is that you can also work full-time for other companies in the UK as long as you are spending considerable time to build your startup. You need a number of things. You need an endorsing body that will endorse you and your idea for the visa route, and eMigr8 platform can help with that. You also need an idea that will be adjudged as innovative, viable, and scalable. eMigr8 platform can help with that. You need to put together a business plan that will convince your endorsing bodies and also the Home Office, which is the visa body in the UK. You need to be able to convince them that you are a genuine founder and that you are interested in building this startup. We can coach you, we can train you for you to be able to achieve all of these as well within the eMigr8 platform. We will not work with you if you are not interested in building a startup. We will not work with you if you are not interested in building your career as a tech founder. But if you're interested and this is something you want to consider, instead of you getting masters that you didn't need in the first place, then you may want to speak with us and you may want to take a look at the UK Innovator founder visa route. This route launched on April 13, 2023, and we feel like this is something you should be taking a look at and exploring as one of your options for a pathway to relocation and settlement. Take a look at it and see you on the other side. Thank you.